Pet Life Radio.
This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, you're listening to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio, and I've got Dusty Rainbolt back in the studio. Welcome back, Dusty.
I am back, and thank you for having me again. Just love talking to you and your listeners.
Well, we did a show recently about different breeds, and we went through quiet breeds to own and needy breeds to own. We talked about quite a few breeds, actually. I'm going to go over that. We talked about servals and Persians and Turkish Vans and Maine Coons and Abyssinians. And if you're interested in those breeds and you want to know more, check out that show on Animal Party Pet Life Radio. So we're continuing on with our tour of the breeds, including some non-pedigreed cats and their coloration and what that means today. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you, Dusty, because I know you just came back from Hawaii, and yes. Hawaii is like Australia. It's kind of isolated, or England used to have really, really strict quarantines. Are the cats of Hawaii different than the cats of America?
Oh, the mainland? Well, it's kind of hard to say. I did not see, there's supposed to be some very large feral cat populations, and I did not experience that. I know along the strip of Waikiki, the restaurants kind of like them because they keep the rodent population away, but they are very invisible. And there is a Buddhist temple, and pardon me for not remembering the name of it, but they have a problem with the feral cats because in the Buddhist faith, they take offerings to their deceased relatives, and they leave the food or whatever it is on the graves of these people. And they complain that the cats come and steal the food. And so around this Buddhist temple, they have a huge feral cat population. But on the other hand, if the cats weren't stealing the food, then the food would actually be acquired by the rats. So, I heard complaints, but I also heard people saying, yeah, but we're glad it's the cats and not the rats. Because I can't imagine anything more desecrating than having rats on your relatives' graves. But I did get to go to a couple of cat cafes there, and that was very interesting. I mean, their cats just seemed like everybody else's cats, and they were friendly and sweet. But I did not see a whole lot of stray cats, and I think that's good.
Okay. Well, dumb cats. I want to get right to it.
Oh, gosh.
Can you guess who might make this list, Dusty?
I think a cat that we had discussed that has beautiful long hair. Yes. Okay.
Top of the list. You got it. So the Persian and the Himalayan, the Burman, the American short-haired, and the Serengeti are all on this list.
Really?
That kind of, yeah. I see it with the Persian and the Himalayan. And
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, it's really training them anything, teaching them anything, memory. I don't know. Some of them don't know their names. It's pretty bulldoggy. We're in bulldog territory, if I'm speaking dog in comparison. When a bulldog learns something, you want to throw a party. Because and if you remember something the next day, well, that's really noteworthy. Now he actually has a trick. So, yeah, I think Persians and Himalayans are up there. What do you think?
Well, yes. It's not surprising they have been really severely inbred. And, I don't know if the shape of their head has anything to do with it or if it's just the amount of inbreeding that they have done. But yes, that has been my experience, that these guys should be in remedial math.
Which is not to say they don't make great cats, because do you really want a smart cat? Not everyone does, right? I mean, smart cats get into things. They get into trouble. They get out the door when you open it. I mean, because sometimes having an easygoing, simple cat, if your life isn't that busy and there's not much going on and you don't want your cat to be chronically bored and destructive, a Persian or a Himalayan might just be for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Turkish Vans are, I don't know if they're on your list, but they are very smart. And it can be a challenge to keep them occupied and from tearing up the house. And Abyssinians are the same way, very intelligent, very active, very curious, but you have to structure things and make sure they have ways to entertain themselves. So yeah, having a feline Einstein may look cute on your videos, but it might also be a challenge to keep them challenged.
So, okay, I recently met this cat that I found almost creepy, but beautiful, but creepy, back and forth, right? You know, like when you see a baby that's just so strange looking. It was called an apple cheek Siamese. Have you ever seen such a thing?
Absolutely. Now, I think those are pretty much the traditional Siamese, aren't they? The old style. They actually have big round heads as opposed to the wedge-shaped muzzle.
No, it's a weird head. It looks like it ran itself into a corner. Its face is shaped like a corner. It's creepy. It's creepy, but then it's beautiful. It's got like a mask. It doesn't look real. The shape of the head looks like, come on, that's not real. Looks like a mask, like some kind of native mask from hundreds of years ago. It does not look like an animal. I can't even describe the shape of this head. Really crazy looking cat.
What is it called?
Apple cheek.
Apple cheek.
Apple cheek Siamese.
Okay.
Anyway, just an aside, because every once in a while, I mean, been doing this so many years, I hardly ever meet a cat that I've never met before, but I met this cat and I was like, what the heck is that? I have got to know. And it turns out it's a very interesting cat. It's sweet, smart, and, you know, likable. Nothing wrong with it, but just such a strange looking cat. Ragdolls. I want to talk about ragdolls. They have a reputation for being very, very laid back. Do you think that's true? I've encountered them and they seem really easygoing, good with kids.
Yes, they are. And, that's one of those breeds that I recommend, if people want a pedigreed cat for, say, an elderly person or with small children, they're fabulous. The reason they're called ragdolls is because they're like a rag doll. You can pick them up and they like it and they're beautiful. But yeah, they are very calm. And if you don't want the activity, if you don't want the running around and the destructive behavior, that's certainly a good way to go.
So now we're about to get to the playful. And I know people always want to know who the playful cats are because it's so much fun to have a toy and play with your cat. But again, if you don't want to do it every day, you probably want one of the lazier cats that'll play once in a while. But if you do want to play every day, all day, oftentimes with your cat, if you want to set up cat trees and cat mazes and buy little things for them and see them try them out, then there are some breeds for you. So we're going to go to break and come back and we'll tell you who they are. Stay tuned to Animal Party on Pet Life Radio.
Here's an alarming statistic. More than 2/3 of dogs and cats have oral health disease by the age of 3, and one of the indicators is bad breath. Do your pets have a healthy mouth? Do you cringe when it's time for a kiss or a snuggle? Let's get to the cause. Harmful bacteria in their mouth. And bad breath is just the start. The bad bacteria cause tartar and oral disease, which can lead to serious overall health problems. It's critical to make sure your pet's oral health is the best it can be, as good dental health is key to optimizing their overall health. Now, good news. It's easy and affordable to improve their oral health with Probiora Pet. Just 1 scoop of this dental care probiotic mixed into their food daily floods the mouth with positive bacteria, which crowds out the bad. This means better oral health and fresher breath. Probiora Pet is an all-natural dental care probiotic. It's odor and taste-free, so your pets will still enjoy their chow. We want to keep your pets healthy. During National Pet Oral Health Month, our listeners can save 10%. Go to probiorapet.com and use PLR10 at checkout. That's probiorapet.com. Use PLR10 at checkout to save 10%.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello! We're back on Animal Party on Pet Life Radio with Dusty Rainbolt, my guest, the cat wrangler herself, and we're talking about playful cats. Well, I've got my list, but I'm sure you've got your list, Dusty. Who are the playful
compare.
cats? Yes, who are your playful cats?
Okay, Turkish vans. They're one of the kitties at the top of my list. I've had them. They don't mature until they're 5 years old because they're such big cats. And so they remain very kittenish throughout their life. And again, you have to try to outthink them, but fabulous cats. Abyssinians. Oh my goodness. So active. Also so intelligent, also tend to get in trouble. So, intelligence and trouble and activity all seem to go together. Those are my two main ones. Well, Siamese are very active as well. What are
I
yours?
have American bobtail,
Okay.
American curl cat, the Bombay, the Bengal, Balinese, Burmese, and the Cornish Rex.
Okay.
I think they're playful.
Okay. Yeah. They what I have noticed on the playful list, the long-haired cats usually aren't on there.
Right.
And, is it just because they get so hot? Who knows? But yeah, I would go with that. I agree with that.
Okay. So now we're getting to the vets. The veterinarians have done a little report. They've added their 2 cents worth. And they say who the best and the worst cats are at the vet. So this I find really interesting because they're not going by breeds. They're going by markings. So they say the worst cats most likely to be aggressive at the vet. And again, I would have thought like you, long hair, right? Nope, not going by that. They're going by color only. And they're saying the worst cats at the vet are the gray and whites. The second worst are the black and whites. And the third worst are the calicos. Now they say the best cats at the vet are the black cats or the solid whites or the solid grays or the tabbies.
Really? I'm surprised because I would have thought people I talk to seem to believe that the red cats have some of the best dispositions and personalities. So,
well, they're on the best list, the tabbies,
they
the
are.
orange. Yep. The
Orange
best
tabby,
list.
okay.
Yeah, the best list is solid black, solid white, solid gray, or any tabby. I mean, I'm a tabby person. I totally love tabbies. I look, when I go rescue cats, if I'm keeping any myself, they have to have the M on their forehead. I'm one of these people that totally believes in the tabby mythology. Okay, you can diffuse it. Dispel my tabby mythology for the people out there because I believe in it, but most people don't. I think tabbies are the best cats ever. They're just the best. They're just the best. So, and I had an email before this show asking me why tabby cats always seem to be the best cats. And I had to answer her saying, well, I don't know, but I agree. So,
well, let me tell you, I've been in rescue a long time, and there are a lot of black cats that need rescue, and there are a lot of tabbies. And this one lady, I went into the shelter and it's like, okay, I have room for 2 cats. It's really hard to pick. And I said, I'll go ahead and take the 2 tabbies because there's a bunch of them there. And a friend of mine said, God must really love tabbies because he made so many of them. And it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, yes. But yeah, I mean, oh gosh, as a behaviorist, I look at the markings and say, okay, there may be a genetic component to that. But for me, it all gets back to socialization at an early age. And I just, I have a real problem saying that this color cat is friendlier or because if you socialize them early enough, almost any cat is going to be easier to handle and more social. So, I'm on the opposite end. I have a really hard time saying that certain cats are better. I will say that black cats seem to have good dispositions, though. I've got one laying right beside me.
I find that too. I always have one black cat. They do. They're very go with the flow. They fit into your environment. They figure stuff out. But you know what? A lot of this, like you say, I mean, yes, I know that vets want to go by genetics and color. And there is something to it because when they do dog studies and genetic studies and they can trace, like bite statistics can be linked to certain colors more than others in certain breeds. And there is some math to this. There is something there. But how much and whether it translates to the cat world, I don't know.
I really think that early socialization trumps breeding. I really do, because, if the cat is socialized at a very early age and they're handled and they're around kids and they're around elderly people, and, if they experience a lot of things, then they're going to be much more accepting. And, my question is, when you're talking about the black cat or the white cat being easier to handle, is there a personality trait to people who want the black cats or the white cats? Is there a personality trait to the human being who owns the cat that may influence the behavior of the cat?
Oh, that's a really good point. So the person who's maybe a little more uptight or nervous or anxious tends to gravitate toward a different type of cat. So that cat might pick up on that and be anxious at the vet, where the person who's really chill takes the tabby, because after all, when you look in the box at the rescue place, there's 100 of them, right? that person might be a little more relaxed because they kind of picked a cat that's a little more run of the mill. Maybe that is the case.
Well, that's my theory. I mean, like you said about specific genetics and specific colors of dogs and such, maybe there is something to that especially when you're dealing with pedigreed animals. I know people, it's tortitude, it's calico attitude, it's this, it's that.
Oh, and they even do it with kids. And I'm sure you're sensitive to this, but when they say, oh, she's a redhead, let her have what she wants. What do you mean? Why is this child getting away with murder because her hair color is different than her sister's? Why are you allowing that? That's crazy, but in the dog world, some of these things, like, for example, if you have a breed that doesn't normally have blue eyes and it has a blue eye, you definitely want to check and make sure that eye works and the ear works, because there's a huge chance, much more likely, that a blue-eyed dog in a breed that's not supposed to be blue-eyed will be deaf or blind, much more likely. So there's some things that do run with the color. There's some connections, right? You can't say color doesn't matter at all, because it does. It doesn't.
Absolutely. And so I hate getting back to the Turkish man, but
no, you don't. You love it.
No, I don't. I love it. I do. I totally. But okay, so I've had friends that have had white German Shepherds, and they had a lot of behavior problems, and they had a lot of health problems, and they didn't seem to be as on top of things as their normally colored German Shepherd puppies. And, again, does this get back to the fact that these animals, they've been bred for this and they're really inbred, and that affects the intelligence and the health and the disposition? It could be. I mean, look at poor King Tut, very inbred and all these health problems. So, I'm not going after anybody by any means.
But there is a difference between like a weakness and a recessiveness. So, for example, in people, blonde or red hair may get canceled out by brunettes. In breeding poodles, the blonde and the black kind of dominate, or labs. But you could still get a chocolate, right? You could get chocolate sometimes. And so in some breeds, the recessive has a weaker coat. Mm-hmm. So like a red Doberman is going to be, her coat and skin may not be as fully functional as the black version.
Yes.
And that can happen. And so that there are some links, but like you say, it's so much more about how you treat your animals. We're going to go to break. We have to go to break. We're going to come back and talk more about that on Animal Party on Pet Life Radio.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms, and our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, Stitcher, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, We're back on Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. And yes, it's true. Color means something, but it sure doesn't mean everything. Any dog or cat or kitten or puppy that you raise well and handle well and love well can be made to be a lovely, lovely animal who enjoys your life and fits in and is perfect for you. So let's talk about that, Dusty. When you get these cats or kittens that maybe haven't been handled enough, it's a kind of a fine line, right? People want to just let them be. But if you let them be and they just hide under the bed for the next 6 months, they're probably going to be that kind of cat forever. And then trying to deal with them and treat them and tend to them and get them out of their shell becomes harder and harder. But you can't force or flood it because you don't want to terrify them. So you have to come up with a strategy where they're sort of contained and you can interact with them and prove to them slowly and surely, day by day, that humans are good. So how do we do that, Dusty?
Oh, now you're talking my language. By the way, let me go back one step. And we were talking about the colors and the breeds. Turkish bands, because they have the band pattern and the piebald gene, they don't have a problem with deafness. However, the white cats with the blue eyes very frequently are deaf. And so if you have the Angoras or whoever, it doesn't matter whether it's a breed or not. If you have a white cat with blue eyes, go ahead and check and make sure that this animal is not deaf, because that is associated with the color and the blue eyes.
You know what, though? But deaf and if your cat or dog is blind or deaf in one ear, one eye, really won't make a difference to you. Even if they're deaf in both, there's ways to compensate for this. You put a bell on the deaf dog so you can always hear it. You carry things that smell like gum or a cigarette or something that will smell that he can identify as your smell so they can always find you. You make a path in the house. It won't be such a big problem, but you just need to know. You need to know what you're dealing with. Okay, so let's move on to the cat or the kitten who didn't get properly socialized. And now we want to make her a love cat.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And that happened to me when we got our first Turkish van. The breeder didn't socialize her at all. And so we got her at 10 weeks and she was not socialized. She didn't want to have anything to do with us. And I was just livid because you pay that much for a pedigreed cat and you expect them to at least have been handled. So the thing to do is you get your new kitten. It's the same with any kitten. You isolate them in a small room. Don't put them in a huge spare bedroom that's, where they can hide under the bed. Put them in a bathroom and don't necessarily free feed them. I mean, if they've been fed dry food and it's available all the time, then you don't want to starve them, but you do want to feed them at specific times. And then that way they become interested in you.
Start to care. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is the food lady. Did the food lady bring me something? And when I first met my husband, he told me probably the best suggestion ever. If something wonderful happens every time the cat sees you, if you bring them a treat, I mean, you don't have to bring them a huge bowl. If every time you go in that bathroom, you bring them a treat, if you play with them, if you talk to them, if you get the toy out, they're going to want to be around you. So you isolate them because you don't want them being freaked out by the vacuum and the television and the kids and all that, and then slowly expand their world. And, bring the kids in when the kids are nice and calm. And if you have small children, then maybe they can hold the little feather on a wand. And so that way the kitten or the cat is going to get used to being played with, as opposed to you releasing the cat and the kid immediately goes running after it and kitty. So that go in there and talk to them, go in there and read to them. They don't care. I mean, if you want to read the news to them, they're going to be perfectly happy. They get used to your voice, your scent, and you just kind of move slow. It's like dating. If you go out with somebody and they're like, wow, let's get married. And you're like, oh, let's slow this down. We don't do this on the first date. But, they treat you good and you get to know each other and you get to trust each other. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, well, let's get married. And so look at it like that. You're dating and you don't want to move too fast.
Okay. All right. So that's a great way to end this show about all the different cats. And we want to just caution you all that, whatever breed you have, whatever cat you have, if you're kind to it and you love it and you pet it and you give it nice things, it will be nice. When people say their cat is aloof or cold, resentful, or that it's vengeful, I look at them and I know that they're not the kind of person that I want to hang out with, because there is no such thing as a cat like that.
May I add one more thing, please?
Oh, sure, please.
Okay, so if you have a cat that has been social and happy or whatever, and all of a sudden they tend to become more aggressive, they scratch or they bite or whatever, that's a signal that you need to take this kitty to the vet. It may have nothing to do with anything that's going on in the house.
Yeah, especially if your cat always used the litter box and now it won't.
Exactly.
Don't scold. Do not scold. There's a real good chance it's something very simple that a couple of pills could fix. Could be an infection, could be something your cat cannot help. But if you start scolding, you're going to add a training behavioral problem onto whatever little medical problem is bothering her.
Well, and another thing that I found shocking is the fact that cats can actually start developing arthritis as early as 1 year old. And that's without injuries. So, if all of a sudden you're touching your cat on the hip or you're picking them up and they're scratching or biting or vocalizing, go to the vet, because this has nothing to do with color or breed or whatever. A change in behavior, especially an aggressive change of behavior for you or other animals or kids or whatever, need to go to the vet.
And we did touch on it a little bit in the last show and this show, but I just want to reiterate that prevention is so important. If you want to keep your vet bills down, you don't wait until the cat can barely get up. You go in quickly and you get it dealt with quickly when there's a change like this. But also, if you want to keep your vet bills down, grooming, right? That's just so essential. Touch your cat all over every day. Brush your cat every day. Dogs too. Make sure you find stuff if there's a cut or a sore. The other day, I had a Labradoodle here and she had this it would look like a pimple, but it was huge. It was like the size of a fig. And then it was the size of a macaroon. It was between her two toes. Yeah. So I right away called the vet, made an appointment. But in the meantime, I took her foot and I put it in Epsom salts and warm water. And I did that 4 times a day, that night and the next morning. And the whole thing's gone, completely healed. It was probably a sliver, a piece of dirt or an ingrown hair or whatever. But, keep on it, right? I would have taken her to the vet if it hadn't. But something like that could end up being such a big vet bill if you didn't catch it right away. So just pet your pets and groom your pets and brush those cats. And if you have long-haired cats, especially, brush them all the time, every day. The short-haired cats, probably once a week will do it. But make sure you're not letting them suffer with, hanging on bits and mats and fur pulling out and scabs and skin irritation, because that's part of their armor against the world. And you don't want them traveling around getting infections and being in pain. So keep your cats clean and groomed and you'll have way less vet bills, way less. Because a lot of this stuff comes from them trying to get it themselves and trying to deal with it, right?
Absolutely. And when you're something people don't think about, mats are so painful. Mats are so painful because when the hair starts getting tangled and then it gets wet and dry and contracts and pulls, it pulls at a different tension rate. You may have some hairs that are pulling very tight, and then the hairs right next to them are not. So there are going to be some areas within this mat that, the hair is being pulled all the time. And again, it gets back to it's painful. So the cat gets aggressive. So yes, it's really important to do that. And if you do have mats, don't go in there and cut those babies out yourself, because you can really slice a cat bad. And then it's back to, something you could have dealt with free by just combing every day. You're now going to have to go in and have the cat anesthetized and shaved. And, you cut them. So now they have to have stitches. And as you said, prevention is so much better than trying to scramble to repair things.
Yeah, mats on cats and hot spots on dogs, always bigger than you think they are. So you clip and you don't realize there's a whack of skin you just cut. And now the cat's bleeding. So be super, super, super careful. Okay. Well, thank you, Dusty, for joining us again. I hope you'll come back.
Of course, anytime. My pleasure.
All right, everybody. From Dusty Rainbolt and me, Deb Wolfe, if you want to see the cats of Camp Good Dog, there are a few clips of those poor cats that survive out here at Camp Good Dog, surrounded by Labradoodles, Golden Doodles, and all the guests. But they're special cats, and they actually love dogs. One of them was nursed by a poodle briefly while the people who were these people had his cat, and the cat died while she was supposed to be nursing her kittens, and they couldn't get the hang of bottle feeding. So I sent my poodle over to help them just while they were getting the hang of it, because the milk's not the same, but at least the cats would have somebody cleaning them and warm body to lie against and, stay alive. Anyway, they all lived and they gave me one. And so he's here now. So he's my most dog friendly cat ever. He doesn't know what he is. His name is Bobby. And so if you want to see the cats at Camp Good Dog, there are a few videos up there on Deb Wolfe Pet Expert YouTube, plus loads of dog videos, everything you need to know to train a dog, and lots of puppy videos. So thank you very much, Dusty, once again.
My pleasure. And if anybody wants to check out my books, it's Dusty Rainbolt. You can find them on Amazon.com. I'm on Facebook, Dusty Rainbolt, and they can also go to my website. It's dustycatwriter.com. That's DUSTYCATWRITER.com.
So that cat, Bobby, the bobcat Bobby, he actually came to me last Thanksgiving. So he's almost not a kitten anymore. And now a new mama, not the one who helped him, but a new mama had puppies, and he took his time and he asked permission, and it took days, but he gradually made his way into the whelping box. And I have footage on that Deb Wolfe Pet Expert YouTube of Bobby the Bobcat actually cleaning newborn puppies, lying in the whelping pan with the mama, doing his best to help out. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful animal. It's amazing what they'll do for each other sometimes, these moms and babies, and how they help each other. So from everyone at Animal Party, Dusty Rainbolt and me, Deb Wolfe, be good to your animals.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.